What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to Happy Hour with Jay. I truly appreciate you guys listening. And let me just start the show out with a massive show of gratitude to you guys. The feedback that I'm getting is absolutely legendary. Everybody's laughing, everybody's having a good time. And I think that's really just the key and the central theme of the goal, the mission of what I wanted to do with the relaunch of the podcast was just to give everybody just a little pop of happiness, a little chuckle, a little levity, a little just some fun stuff we can all like kind of like either agree or disagree on, but there's really no hard feelings and there's no heaviness, no guru type, jargon or any of that kind of stuff. It's just pure what I'm thinking, like just a peek into the mind of a madman, if you will. And today's going to be no different. Let me start the show out with, and I'm not going to give a Love is Blind update because A, that's not what the show's about. B, we're getting into the nitty gritty of the show, and I don't want to give it away for anybody that has not seen the show or is not where Lori and I are at in the process, because I don't like the spoilers myself. But what I am going to talk about is this. On a few episodes a while back, and Lori and I were just talking about this, and we kind of got a chuckle about it. And I thought it was relevant to kind of our conversations that we have here on the show. Adults who play video games. Now, before anybody goes crazy, relax. Everybody relax. This is not making fun of anybody. This is not a stab at anybody. Like if you're a grown adult and you like to play video games, listen, I'm into weird stuff too. Like I work out 7 days a week. I know that's weird. I really don't have any other hobbies other than that, but I'm just trying to make you feel better about the video game thing. But listen, this is not disparaging towards you, but hear me out. So Lori and I are watching the show, and again, these are 30-year-old people. So I'm thinking back to when I was 30, and they're in the pods, and they're talking about this. One couple talks about somehow gaming came up, and they got so excited and they're like, oh my gosh, won't it be so amazing if like we both come home from work and then we just game together for hours. And without saying a word, I hit pause on the TV and I just turned slowly over to Lori, and she's looking at me, and we both just burst into laughter. Only because we can't see ourselves doing that. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but only because we just can't see ourselves. And if you know anything about Jay and Laura, you would be laughing too. Like it'd be hysterical if we came home and we both threw on the headsets and we're yelling at teenagers in Kansas City, playing Call of Duty together, and I can't picture it, and she can't picture it. And so it was just funny. So I just started thinking about that the other day, and I'm like, what do you think? Like as an adult, and I'm assuming most of the people that listen to this are probably around my age in the 50s, maybe some 30s, 40-year-olds, but like adults who game, like it's a thing, I think. And then what do you think about it? Like if you're not with a gamer, like would that be like an off-putting thing to you if like your husband or your wife was like, hey, I'm gonna head to the spare bedroom and go for a couple hours of Call of Duty or Madden or something of that nature. And gosh, I just don't. Maybe it's because it's not in my wheelhouse, but I don't know how I would feel about that. I'd be like, huh? I mean, let me tell you a fun story. So, this was gosh, almost 20 years ago. So Lori and I are about to celebrate our 18th anniversary, and so this is probably, so it can't be 20 years ago. So it's probably, man, when we first got together. So we'll say like, well, let's say, let me do the reverse math on that. Anyway, let's just say about 15 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. Lori and I are at a dinner party at this house. There were a couple of friends of ours. And this guy and his brother was at the party. And we were kind of out on the deck and we were having a couple cocktails and we were just talking. And the brother says to my friend who's a little bit older, he's like, man, the other night was epic. It was just so much unbelievable. And I'm thinking, what? Tell me about it. What'd you guys do? This sounds awesome. And they're like, oh well, man, we were shredding. And they didn't call it. They didn't say Call of Duty. They call it Call of Duty. They call it like COD or something. They were like, man, we were shredding COD, and then those punks from like Alabama were on there, and I'm like, what is happening? Are you guys in some kind of gang? Like, what? I thought maybe that, I'm like, what? And then they start telling me about this, and I'm like, oh shit, you guys were playing video games. And they're like, yeah, oh totally. He's like, dude, you got to get a box and a headset, and we'll hook it up, and like we'll get. And I was just like, I'm in my brain, I'm thinking, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that I'm gaming with you dudes after work. Like, if I'm doing anything, I'm hanging out with Lori and like gonna spend some QT. I'm not about to play video games with you cats and some kids from all over the world. Just not in my wheelhouse. And we drove home that night, and I was again talking to Lloyd. This is why it kind of came up funny on the show, is because it was so much recall. And I was just like, do you remember when? And I'm saving names here, but, and she was like, yeah, it was unbelievably just bizarre to know, because at that time, I didn't know any adults. And gosh, if I'm facing blah, 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 do the right. So I'm like in my 30s at that stage. I didn't know any adults that came home from work and played video games. I honestly didn't. I thought kids played video games. And then I'll wrap this up to make everybody feel better. Because if you do game, like, I don't want you to feel bad about it. I mean, you probably don't give a shit what I think anyway. You probably think I'm weird because I don't play video games. But I read an article, and it was talking about surgeons who play video games and how they score better on their whatever robotic scores that they take. Because most surgeries now are robotic, like where either the robot's doing the surgery or the surgeon is like navigating the robot with almost like video game instrumentation. And there was a study that showed that surgeons who actually played video games, like gamed online, actually were better at doing the surgeries than surgeons who didn't video game. And so I'm here to say, if you're a surgeon, and you don't have an Xbox or a PS, whatever it is now, hit me up, because just in case I need a procedure, like I need my guy to be a gamer. So I'm going to go into the surgery or the consultation and be like, weird question. What's your call sign? And if they don't have an, because I think gamers have call signs. If they don't have a call, they're either going to think that, or they're going to think that I think they're from Top Gun, which is a whole other tangent that I could get off of. Never mind. But yeah, if they don't have a call sign and aren't gaming, I'm probably not letting them drive the robot, if we're going to be honest. So if you're a surgeon, keep hammering, keep hitting it. I think it's fantastic and outstanding. And speaking of hammering and hitting, what am I on to with the energy drinks? We're still hitting the bum. Just got a shipment right before I hit play on this. I think this time we went with the blueberry lemonade, which is fantastic. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you're not a grape person, which grape is good, but the blueberry lemonade just hits right. It's something about it. Summer's coming, and it's right. It's just right where it needs to be. So again, Bum, if you're watching, your boy's available. Shout outs, product review, whatever you need. I'm your guy. Give me the ball. Let me run. I'll do some work for you. Speaking of shout outs, so this is a pretty cool thing. And this is a little bit of a reality show tangent. You guys are thinking, does these people watch anything other than reality TV? And the answer is no. If you listen to the first episode, I think I mentioned that. I'm not a big TV guy. And the only reason that I watch TV is because at night before we go to bed, Lori likes to watch a little reality TV to turn her brain off. And so we usually watch Love is Blind. We're big Bachelor people, Bachelorette, blah, 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 you name it. And so when Lori and I first got together, one of our first like silly conversations was, do you watch The Bachelor? I don't even know if The Bachelorette was on back then, like 18 years ago. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. But do you watch The Bachelor? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I watch every episode. So I even used to watch it before I met her. Why? Because I love love. Truth be told, Jay loves love. I told you guys in a couple episodes the other day, even watching rom-coms, and I know they're going to end up together at the end of the rom-com. I hate it when they have that little conflict scene, like the whole hero's journey thing, where they have to have the conflict piece. Breaks my heart. I'll usually go get a drink. I'll fake a sprained ankle. I'll do something just to get out of the room so I don't have to see that hurt. Because Jay loves love. I love everything about it. And then now the shows, The Bachelor, Bachelorette, have turned into full-blown spectacles, probably just because I'm older. But fast forward to the story today. So as you guys know, as I explained, One of my new businesses is a product called Buzz Buddy, which is a alcohol metabolism product. This is not a pitch for Buzz Buddy. Hang in there if you think it is. I promise you it's not. There's relevancy here. It's an alcohol metabolism, like it mitigates the hangover, so you don't have that sluggish blah feeling the next day after drinking. So on my Buzz Buddy Instagram, sometimes Lori and I will do like like we'll make drinks, like make different cocktails. I made some Aperol Spritz the other day. I made a French 75 not too long ago. And so I found these canned like spritzers that mimic like Italian style cocktails, like an Aperol Spritz, like a lemon something together. I don't even remember what it was. But I realized that the company was founded by one of the original Bachelorettes, happens to be my personal favorite Bachelorette. Sorry, Tristan, not you. I know you're the OG, but JoJo, I think her full name is Jolene, but she goes by JoJo Fletcher. She was a Bachelorette, got with Jordan. Her and Jordan are still married. Jordan is Jordan Rodgers. If you're a football fan, it's Aaron Rodgers' younger brother. So they're still married. And I realized that JoJo was one of the founders of this company called Saint Spritz. And Lori and I were going to do like a live, kind of a live taste test for the Buzz Buddy channel on TikTok and Instagram and all those things. And so since we were doing that, we did the video, poured the drinks, tried them. They were amazing. And obviously gave JoJo a shout out, Jordan a shout out. And I reached out to the company and I just sent them the thing and we tagged them in on the videos and we're like, hey, we love these. These are really cool. They actually shared our video on their personal page. And then I started corresponding with with one of the COO, and he was like, hey, we'd love to send you guys some product. And I was like, unbelievable. Awesome. I'd love to send you guys some Buzz Buddy, like, marriage made in heaven there. Like, and so we're now corresponding with the Saint Spritz company. They're going to send us some product because we did a product review and absolutely loved it. And we're going to send them some Buzz Buddy for their whole team to try. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to have some kind of like collaboration, or if not, just sharing amazing products with amazing people. And so that's just something really cool that came out of like Lori and I just doing something that's authentic to us and making the connection to a show that we really, really liked and that we still watch to this day. And so, I think the message to that is like, just authentically be yourself, like no matter what it is that you're doing, and like a really cool stuff can happen. Like I never expected them to reach back out and say, oh, hey, we'd love to send you guys some product. I mean, we're definitely not influencers by any stretch of the imagination. And for them to be interested in trying Buzz Buddy as an entrepreneur, that's your dream, right? As if anybody that's willing to want to try your product, right? That's willing to give your product a try is like, it's just one of the coolest things. So I thought there was a really cool, like reality show, tie in there that, I thought I'd share with you guys. Just, I mean, that's what this is about. Let's have some fun, share some wins. And, let's move now to something that's not a win. I am a stickler, and I want to know how you guys feel about this. Cause sometimes I feel like maybe, am I too harsh? Am I too type A personality? And let me preface this by saying this. So at the fitness studio, if we're going to have a 5 a.m. class, we are there at 4 a.m. So we're there. If you come to Thrive Fitness Studio and you come to a 5 a.m. class, know that we are at the studio at 4 o'clock in the morning. We're there an hour before the class starts. Now, why is that important? Like, I think it shows the clients that you care, right? Because if they show up 15 minutes before class, I want to be there. I don't want them to think, oh gosh, they're not there, or they're running late, they're whatever. Like, I never want a client to have the feeling that like their business is not important to me, that them showing up at my place of business is not important. Like, I want the lights to be on, the music to be on, the temperature to be right. Like, I want everything to be where it's supposed to be when my client shows up. And I want them to know that I'm ready for them as soon as they walk in the door. And I've had a couple of experiences lately, and Lori will tell you this, like, I'm a stickler for customer service. And that's probably because of the way that I show up, that I feel like, and it's unfair, that I feel like everybody should show up that way. But let me know what you think, because here's my peeve. Let's just say, so this morning, I get my blood work done every 3 months. And so I go to the same place. They open at 7 o'clock. I'm standing outside their door at 6:45 every time, without fail. right? I know they don't open until 7, but I'm ready to go. Like as soon as the door opens, Jay's ready to get the procedure started, get the blood drawn, and go on about his day. That's how planned and detailed I am. So I show up there today, 6:45, and I don't expect I don't expect them to be like staring out the door, like waiting for me to get there. But I get there at 6:45 today and it's pitch dark. Not a soul inside. And I'm like, okay, well, that's, 15 minutes early. If it was my business, I'd be pissed, right? If my employees didn't show up or if I wasn't there. And there's me and another guy standing outside. And then 6:50 comes, and then 6:55, and then another guy rolls up. And I'll tell you about him in a minute. I'm gonna tell you about that cat in a minute, because that's another one of my pet peeves. And even this show's all about positivity, but we're having a little fun with just things, so that we all get peeved, right? We all get irritated by behavior. But anyway, back to the customer service. So literally 7 o'clock rolls around and it is pitch dark. Like there's not a light in the building on. 7:05 comes. The lights come on, somebody opens the door, and then every employee walks in behind myself and the 4 other people that were in line. And I just thought, gosh, that's just it's such a bad look. Because for one, it's a medical place, like where you're going to be, they're going to shove in a needle in your arm and like, drawing blood and all these other things. And, with HIPAA and paperwork and all that, like you want that place to be buttoned up. You know what I mean? You want that place to kind of have their shit together. And so just the fact that they showed up that after they should have already been open, like thoughts on that. I mean, because I'm like, listen, I don't make a big deal about stuff. I just kind of like mentally put it into the Rolodex, and I'm thinking, God, if that was my business, I'd be irritated. Same thing happens. Like Lori and I just went and had her car serviced at the dealership kind of in Palm Springs. I won't name the dealership because I'm not a big I'm never a bad review guy. That's why I didn't say like what the name of the blood place was. These are stories of things that irritate me. I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody's business or anything of that nature, because I think that's not professional in and of itself. So I would never do that. But we go to get car serviced, and I wasn't getting my car serviced, but I know the situation that happens every time I do. If you know me, like in my hair dude, Chris, if you're watching now, Chris, I'm sorry about the headband. The hair is just wild right now. Got a mind of its own. Woke up today. We had a bit of a domestic hair one, obviously. So we're wearing a little bit of a headband style thing today, but that's neither here nor there. But here's what happens. I text Chris and I'm like, Chris, first appointment of the day on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. When can you get me in? I'll wait 2 weeks to get first appointment of the day. Here's my theory on that. I don't want to mess with other people. I don't want anybody running late. I don't want to listen I don't want to listen to stuff while I'm getting my hair done. I want to be the only person in the place. Get in, get out, get on with my life. So that's how I treat everything. When I get my car serviced, first appointment of the day. When I go to an appointment, first appointment of the day. That's just how I operate. So every time I go get my car serviced at said place, they open at 7 o'clock. Again, I'm there at 6:45. I'm waiting at the door. They open up, but my guy doesn't come sit down at his desk until 7:01, and then looks at me and says, "Oh, hey, I gotta boot the system up." Huh? I got a 7 a.m. Like system's booted. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so that's just one of my irritations. And for me, it's like, and if I'm paying somebody to run the business, right, I feel like they should have enough respect for the customer and the business and themselves, just themselves, to show up and be professional and like just be on, So anyway, am I too much? Do I need to loosen the reins on that and be like, whatever, you know what I mean? Or do you agree with me? Am I preaching to the choir because you guys feel the same way? Or should I just relax? And let's talk about this cat today. So I get there 6:45, blood draw. Guys standing at the door at 6:45 beats me to the punch. And I'm like, well done, old timer. Like this guy's got years on me. He knows what he's doing. Like, old dog. He's got the system. I can learn a thing or two from him. Trust me, next in 3 months, I'm going to be there at 6:40. He's not getting me twice. Anyway, guy rolls up behind both of us. He and I are just sitting there, talking a little bit. Cat rolls up behind us and almost stands like right in front of the door. And there's just like a common courtesy thing. Like obviously old timers there first, then it's me. then it's you. Then it's you, my guy. You rolled up third place. You're going third, right? No, this guy stands right in front of the door and then watches golf on his phone. First of all, it's 7 a.m. I don't know where you're watching golf, my guy. But I mean, maybe there's some reruns. Maybe something's on I don't know about. I'm not a golf guy. But pretends to watch golf on his phone. They open the door and he goes in front of everybody. Now, I don't say anything. Now, I'm thinking about taking his kneecap out, but I'm thinking he's already there for blood. Like there's got to be something else going on. Like let's don't compound a situation. So we go in, everybody gets checked in. He and I get called back at the same time. And while we're waiting in there, he's just complaining. He's gasping. He's complaining about having to fast. It's 7 a.m, dude. Like, well, what do? You do? You get up and you just get up and have like a hungry man breakfast. You go and lumberjack over at the IHOP. It's 7 a.m. You can go eat now. Anyway, complaining the whole time. We get called back at the same time, right? Same exact moment, same exact time. The girl who picks me, we're in, out, on with our lives. He's still sitting in the chair complaining and running his gums while I'm on my way to the house. But anyway, how do you feel about that? Is there a common courtesy there where like you roll up somewhere and you like, and what's the deal with the phone thing? Have you guys noticed this? When somebody does something like silly like that, they just pretend to be on the phone, or maybe they just are on the phone and they use it as like a distractionary thing where they don't have to pay attention to the world around them. Like I thought my guy with the cane was going to go to work, and I'm gonna be honest, I had his back. If it went down, like I was looking at him, like, do you want to do this? And he was like, I could tell he was like thinking about it. He's like, whatever. And then we decided not to. But I'm just saying, if my guy with the cane decides to pop off, I got his back in that scenario. But what do you guys think? Again, am I too much in this, or am I on point here? All right, let's move on to something a little more entertaining. Let me have a little sip here. So, let's have a little client shout out, a little client and listener shout out. I know that Celeste listens to the show. Celeste is one of my favorite clients. I always say if I could have 1,000 Celeste, life would be amazing. Like great conversationalist, great everything, great question asker. Engaged, engaging, the whole 9 yards. So Celeste asked a question the other day on one of our private pages. And she said, is there a movie? And this is such a great question. I want to share it with you guys. I want to know what gets you kind of thinking about this, because it's had me thinking even after I answered the question. But her question was this: is there a movie that if you're just scrolling through Netflix or TV or whatever, and this movie happens to pop up and be on, that you just have to watch it, even if you watched it 1,000 times, even if you just watched it, whatever it is? Is there a movie that hits like that for you? Thought that was such a great question. My initial answer to her question was the movie Gladiator. Like I've probably watched that show over 1,000 times in some version or variation of timing into the show, and it really doesn't matter. Like it could be at the end, the middle, the beginning, somewhere in between, and I'm probably going to watch it at least for 20, 30, maybe the whole rest of the show if it's on. Is there a show that hits like that for you? And then funny story, like after I was thinking about movies, I was doing my Beamer sauna session. So you know what? I lied earlier. I like confessions. Now we're gonna go get into the confessional. I do watch TV from time to time. So I do two things every single day. I have this thing called a Beamer. It's like a pulsed electromagnetic field mat that I lay on every morning and every night. And then I sit in an infrared sauna for 20 minutes. So that's like a 30-minute process twice a day. And while I'm watching that, I usually watch YouTube. Well, I always watch YouTube, but I usually watch like founder stories or Forbes stories about how businesses are built, or how somebody went from like having $100 to start this business to now multiple millions, or things like that. So it's always something business related. But yesterday, and I think it's Celeste's fault, I'm going to blame Celeste 100% for this. She had me thinking movies, and it happened to pop up, and it was a little like mini documentary about, not really documentary, but a mini little episode thing about the movie Dumb and Dumber, about how it got created, how it got casted, the troubles they had getting people to make it, and then just the nostalgic effect that it's had through multiple generations ever since it's been made. And it was fascinating. So I don't know if you guys were Dumb and Dumber fans. I think it's one of the most hysterical movies ever. Absolutely silliness to the max, but there's something about it that just transcends. And it doesn't matter how old I am or whatnot. That's another one of those movies that I could literally, it was showing little clips last night as I was watching the little doc on it. And it was just, it brought back so many memories of just how funny and silly that was. It took them over 2 years to get somebody to agree to make the movie. And it was before Jim Carrey had gotten really big. And the budget, I think they said they wanted to make it for under $2 million. Right. And it was right after Jim Carrey made The Mask and before Ace Ventura came out. So I think they were able to get him on the super cheap, which is unbelievable. And then Jeff Daniels was like, luckily they cast it, but they asked everybody. They asked like Martin Short. They asked like all the big comedians of that time. And they had like a list of 35 of them or something like that. And every one of them said no. They're like, no way. And even Jeff Daniels' managers were like, hey, this will ruin your career. Do not do this. This will bankrupt you. And it turned out to be like one of the like probably most all-time watched, all-time funniest, like viewed movies of all time. Like just the pure silliness. And I watched like the making of it and the amount of like ad lib that they allowed them to do in that show was just off the charts. Like just the creative and comedic genius of the entire cast, to be honest. Like when you're watching this little doc series on it was unbelievable. So just that just had me thinking about movies and whatnot. So do you have one of those shows that just really lands hard for you? And then another shout out I'd like to give, and I'm only doing this because he sent me a really amazing message a couple of days ago, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm really digging the podcast." He's like, "I listened to your, this Ride Forever Fit show, and now that you've come back with this new iteration of, Happy Hour with Jay, like I'm really digging it. I'm having fun. It's awesome, whatever." So shout out to my buddy Jared, who's always been an unbelievable supporter of me. He was one of the only people in my life at this time. Like when I launched the Overweight Mind, he lives in Oklahoma. He flew from Oklahoma to Palm Desert to be at my book launch party when I launched my first book, The Overweight Mind. So just super awesome dude. I've known Jared for, gosh, probably 15 years and just awesome individual, but he's an absolute maniac. So now that I've built them up, now it's time to just to pull the veil back. Do you guys have a friend like this? I get a text. This is Jared. Like I'll get a text from Jared. I look at my phone. I'll be like, what are we doing? Like Jared's my buddy that if there's a question that is absolutely, well, actually, I shouldn't even say silly. So he always asks me questions about like it's nutritional stuff, it's supplemental stuff, it's like biohacking stuff. So they're not really silly questions. They are silly coming from Jared. I mean, Jared's in a relationship. He has a beautiful significant other, but he's also in a relationship with a taco truck in his local town, and that's his biggest problem. And that's not a disparaging joke to Jared. That's actually his joke, not mine. So before you get mad at me, get mad at him first. But anyway, he and the taco truck are in a relationship, but he sends me a message like once a month about something radical. Today, he sends me a message about a product called like methylene blue that's supposed to do all these things and biohacking and this and that. And I give him just my opinion on it. And then he commences to tell me that I should, why? Well, I tell him I don't want to try the product. And he tries to convince me that I should. And then I say, I think you should do it. And he's like, "What? You're afraid to do it, but you want me to?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." Like this is Jared. I think he just likes to antagonize me with these questions because he never listens to my advice, ever. Like he literally sends me text messages, and I'd be willing to share the threads. He will send me an hour's worth of text message. I'll give him my advice, and he's going to do the exact opposite. Does anybody else have a friend like that? And I still love him. I still love him. As irritating as he is, you can't help but love the guy. He's an unbelievable human, but just such a pain in the ass when it comes. And I know what's going to happen. And I fall for it every time. I fall for it every single time he sends me a message. I just need to figure out, if I was smart, I'd figure out what he wants me to say. And I always say the opposite of what he wants me to say. I'm just going to start agreeing with him from the get-go and just be like, yes, you. Hey, Jay, should I jump off of the Empire State Building with a parachute, even though like I've never skydove before? Absolutely, 100%. Sounds safe. I would give him all the reasons why he shouldn't, and he's going to go do it anyway. So anyway, he's like having a child. Like no matter what I say, but somebody else could tell him the exact thing I say, and he'll send me a message, be like, "Hey, I talked to so and so, and they said this," and I'll be like, I just never mind, never mind. Anyway, but I love you, Jared. Thanks for listening to the show, brother. I really appreciate you, and I mean that with all due respect and with tons of love. Jared knows I love him. I don't have to explain to you guys that I love the guy. All right, let's jump into trending topics and let's get out of here. I don't read these. I just print these out and then I read them on the fly. So if I sound like I have like a third grade reading level, that's a possibility as well. But it's just know that I don't read these ahead of time. So first one says something about fashion starter pack memes. So I think it's talking about like memes on the internet. Starter memes have evolved from internet jokes. So I didn't know they called them starter pack memes. Okay. So I guess memes have evolved from internet jokes to marketing tools. Brands like Gucci and H&M. That's kind of funny that they're comparing Gucci and H&M to the same sentence. Anyway, Gucci and A&M using these for product placement. They're using the memes to satirically, is that how you say that word, satirically? Compile images and text to depict stereotypical cultural trends and behaviors, making fashion more accessible and relatable. I think what they're trying to say in like human language is brands like Gucci and H&M are now using memes, trying to be a little bit funny and relate to people on a normal level. And maybe that's making things more relatable. So hats off to Gucci and H&M and all the companies doing that. That was by Vogue Business. We're dumb. Next one says AI is everywhere. No shit. AI is being integrated into versions of industry from photo transformation tools. Let's talk about that. I'm not even going to read any more about that. Have you guys seen these AI photos? Like you can get like AI headshots done now. I mean, you guys thought the world of I've never internet dated, but I'm assuming that this is gonna be a problem. I'm assuming this is gonna be a big problem. Like you're gonna head to Buffalo Wild Wings thinking you're meeting Doug from Nationwide, and that he looks like just an Adonis, and it's not going to be the case because some of these photos things are, I mean, they make you look good. I haven't done them for myself yet. I'm actually a little bit afraid of it. But AI is gonna be dangerous. AI is gonna create some issue. Oh, and speaking of AI, I saw something today. So who posted this? I think it might have been Hermosi. I think Hermosi said laziness is going to cost more people their jobs this year than AI. Because there's a whole thing now that AI is going to take everybody's jobs. And he posted that laziness is going to actually cost more people their jobs. They'll lose their jobs to laziness more than they will to AI. And I was like, ooh, Hermosi hitting hard fastball. That's kind of his style. I hate to say it, but as you guys probably know, type A personality, I'm somewhere 30 minutes before the place even opens. I get to the studio an hour before clients that I probably agree with him 100%. I think if you're good, there'll always be a place for you. And that may be controversial, but I think if you're good at what you do, you're great at what you do, and you care about what you do, there's always going to be a spot for you, right? I think laziness will definitely create more problems for you than AI because you can use AI as a weapon and a tool in your toolbox. Because most people are going to want that humanistic level of engagement inside of their business and inside of their world. And if you're good and you're great, then you got nothing to worry about. So message of the day, be good, be great. Micro bags. What is a micro bag? This trend of microscopic luxury bags that can't even fit a phone are being widely criticized. Well, no shit, it sounds stupid. These tiny accessories are seen as an impractical fashion accessory, occasionally detached from what is this even a trend for? BuzzFeed put this out. Like that's not even, let's just mark that as dumb. I need a stamp that just says dumb on it. And we're moving on. Dangerous TikTok challenge. I don't like the sounds of this. Some TikTok trends like the blackout or Benadryl challenge, both of those sound stupid. Don't do either one of those if you're listening. I don't even know what they are. Have been deemed dangerous and potentially deadly. These challenges highlight the darker side of viral content. I'm watching beavers and otters eat strawberries on the internet. I don't even know what any of this is. And I hope you guys don't either. I'm not even going to elaborate any more on that. Don't do anything. Stop doing shit for people to watch it, like it, click it, and love it. if you're good and great at what you do and what you have to say and all those things, I'm looking, if you're watching right now on the internet, I look like an absolute idiot. I have some kind of half-cocked headband on. I haven't shaved in a week. Um, my plant behind me is missing the top of it. It showed up that way. It got shipped in the box that way. I'm hoping it rejuvenates itself like a lizard tail. I don't know anything about plants, so that could be a pipe dream. But stop it. Stop doing things that are weird and dangerous and all these things. Please. That sounds unbelievably just stupid. I don't like it. I don't like any part of it. So I'm even going to end on that because I don't even want to go any further. If the last one's as dumb as that one, then it's not even worth talking about. But let's talk about something awesome before we go. Let's talk about what it's like to be around people that make you feel amazing. Like people that I believe people are like the currency of energy is really, really important. And my message to you guys is spend more time with people that make you feel valuable when you leave their presence. Make sure you're spending time with people that fill up your energy banks, that make you feel happy and make you feel blissful and joyful as you exit their surroundings, and that make you want to spend more time with them. Like when you leave somebody's presence, you should be like, I can't wait to hang out with that person again. I mean, this should be your significant others and your families and everything else too. But I'm talking like, friends and acquaintances and people you're spending time with and things you're watching and listening to and ingesting. Make sure there are things that bring you value. Make sure that they light you up and make you want to be more, do more, have more, feel more, like just good, positive vibes. Stop hanging around and listening to people that bring you down, that make you feel worse than you went into the scenario or the situation. So that's the tip of the day. That's the closing of this particular episode. And before we go, let me say thank you again. You guys are radically awesome. And just you taking the time to send me a note to say, hey, love it, keep it up, appreciate it, laughed, whatever. Like that means the world. Like, I mean, listen, I'm not changing anybody's lives with this show. We're not going to get the Pulitzer Prize or the whatever you get for running your mouth. We're not going to be that. We're not going to be a top ranked podcast. We're not going to be battling Rogan and the brothers over in, I can't think of their names. What's Taylor Swift's boyfriend's name? Kelsey brothers. We're not rivaling the Kelsey brothers. We're not doing any of that stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a good time. We're going to elevate some spirits. We're going to be super grateful. We're going to talk about some fun stuff and just engage for a little bit, a little pops of fun. So that's the goal. That's the mission. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you right back here. Let me know your thoughts on some of my rants this week. I'd really like to know if I'm insane or if we're going to need to make that padded cell a little bit bigger for all of us. All right. Have a beautiful day. Be nice to each other. See you in a bit. Bye.